Rodrigo, can you tell me a little bit about how the electricity business is different in the U.S. compared to Brazil?
Sure. The primary source of energy in Brazil is this hydro. It comes from hydro, and that is primarily due to the fact that we have, the natural resources for that. So in one river, you can have multiple hydros. As a matter of fact, one of the AES companies works like this, has several hydros set up in one river. Also, one difference that I noticed is that we don't get to choose who we buy our energy from in Brazil. Okay, if you're in a particular area, in a city, you're only stuck with one provider, one utility company. That's another. I see that here we have options. Some of the things the factors that we're not as exposed to commodities price in Brazil as markets are in the U.S. And again, that's primarily because we use more of hydro, sources of energy as opposed to coal and other, oil-related or product. There's a little bit of natural gas, but it's a minimum amount of energy that. But we do have other factors. Inflation is a little bit more of an issue than in the U.S. and also foreign currency. We have one big power plant in Brazil that is an international power plant. It was built by Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. So the prices from that huge power plant, hydro plant, are set in dollars. So we're exposed to actually the foreign currency variation.
And are you very much exposed to different trends in weather?
Absolutely. That's also a very good question. Yes, in the dry season, people are encouraged to save energy because the rivers level gets down, and they have to kind of really control the flow of water, to maintain the production, stable. But yes, the weather does play a good, important role in our energy matrix in Brazil.
Excellent. Can you tell me a little bit about non-technical losses, which I understand are basically people stealing energy? In the U.S., that's not really a problem. I don't even know. Is it a problem in Brazil?
It is a huge problem, not one I'm particularly proud to talk about, but it is a huge problem, unfortunately. Brazil, there's a cultural thing of take advantage of certain situations, and it's not everyone. Let's make that very clear. But especially due to the social differences and discrepancies between the upper classes and lower classes in society. There's a lot of poor people in Brazil, and they won't think twice before to steal energy and do illegal connections and hookups and share the same meter with the different neighbors. That happens all the time. Unfortunately, this can contribute to significant losses for electrical power and any other energy provider. And a contributing factor is also stealing of copper cables. This happens all the time. And even though you're not stealing electricity directly, it impacts the distribution of energy. The energy arriving at the distribution points. So it is an important factor, and again, one that I'm not proud to talk about. But it
I think
exist.
It's pretty common in many places, but
yeah, I think anywhere Latin America, I've heard testimonies from other countries where we do business in, and it is a pretty common thing, unfortunately. Communication companies also suffer a lot because of stealing cables, but I'm not sure that qualifies as a technical loss. More of a material loss.
Great, thank you for sharing.
Sure.
I think the last question I have is not related to the electricity industry, but I've read that Sao Paulo and Rio actually have quite a rivalry, somewhat similar to some of the ones that might exist in the U.S. Could you comment about that?
Yeah, sure. I'm from Sao Paulo, and so I'm going to try not to be biased, but I think, there's a huge rivalry, and especially in soccer and lifestyle. Both states will say that they have the best soccer teams, they play better. But in a way, I think we're just jealous of each other, especially people from Sao Paulo, because people in Rio, they enjoy the good life. They work, but not as many hours as Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo being the huge metropolitan, see lots of business, the financial heart of Brazil, and we don't have the beach right in front of us where we can just get off work and have a drink of, by the beach. And people from Rio, the Cariocas, they just go to the beach after work, they play, soccer, they play volleyball, they just enjoy, they take a nice walk along the beach. So it is. I mean, it doesn't get beyond that. It's more on the teasing side. It doesn't get violent. It never get to that point. But I think the root cause is really just jealousy, of each other. More from people from São Paulo, about people from Rio. So.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your experiences and knowledge about Brazil with us. And
sure.
Thank you very much.
No problem.